welcome to another DK Custom Products video. I'm Dwayne, this is Devin. Today we're going to go in the storage building and there's a Sportster in there that hasn't been started in several years. So we're going to show you guys what to do if you find yourself in a similar situation. So this bike, y'all have probably seen it before. We built it about 12 years ago. It's the DK48 bike. We've got some pictures of that we'll throw up on the screen. We did a whole build series on the forums about it. Maybe we'll put a link to that at the bottom. But this bike has been sitting, I don't know, probably around 5 years. I'm not even sure. We're going to check the tag and see. It may have even been longer than that. But again, you know, it's a bike that's been sitting for a while for various reasons. We got other bikes that we've been working on, you know, whatever. And actually, Melissa, my wife, wants to get it back out and actually start riding it again. So we're going to do this as a barn find because technically it is. Yeah. Now you guys might not be in the situation where, hey, I forgot I had a Sportster and left it in storage for 5 years like Devin did. But if you're like me, you might stay up late hours of the night, Facebook Marketplace, wheeling and dealing, lowballing people, trying to get your hands on, you know, something someone doesn't need anymore. And I've noticed one of the themes in the description of these vehicles, 3 words: ran when parked. You see that a lot, ran when parked. So you're kind of just going off that guy's word. Does it run or does it not? More often than not, when you get there, if it's been there for 3, 4, 5 years, it's not going to run unless you do a few things to it. Those few things are what we're going to go over today. And I'm sure by the end of this video, we'll be riding this bike. All right, we actually just moved a few things up around it. It is a mess in here, so just overlook that. But if you find one in the barn, it's going to be the same way, I'm sure. Yeah. So, you know, you want to get to where you can work. You know, one of the first things you're going to want to do is get the bike where you can walk around it and actually take a look at it. So, yeah, as you can see, this one's got a flat tire. We did bring an air pump today. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to get the tire aired up, and then we're going to roll it back where we can actually get around this bike and take a better, closer look at it. There's a few things you need to bring with you. First off, like Dwayne said, we need to air the tire up, so we got an air pump. We figured the battery's dead, so we got a jump pack. Figured there's going to be some wasps, so we got some wasp spray. Yeah. Multimeter, and we did bring a spark plug wrench just because we want to take a look at the spark plugs and we want to make sure the motor still turns over freely. And what Devin's doing right now is checking the voltage of the battery because if it doesn't have power, it's not going to come on. So you want to make sure it gets power, so that's one thing you can check off the list. You know, if it's been in storage, you never know. Rats been chewing the wires. You never know if there was an electrical issue before it was parked. So you want to learn that. You want to figure out what's going on before you turn over some money and buy it and take it home. Exactly. So we had 1 volt there. So this battery is probably permanently damaged, but we'll try to jump it off today, and then we'll assess if we need a new battery or maybe if we can bring that one back around. But I'm just checking over the wires here. Everything looks to be intact. I imagine the battery was just dead and somebody was trying to jump it off, probably me, and I don't remember it. But everything else, all the other wires, everything looks to be intact. I don't see anything that is giving me concern. We'll hook some power up to it, turn the key on, and make sure it looks like everything's going to work. Not optimal setup. Alright, so we got some lights, speedometer come on. I'm noticing right off the bat that we got some indicator lights, or at least the cover for them, missing. But we have no headlight. It's odd. So we'll have to figure out what's going on there. Could be as simple as a fuse, but we'll have to find out. We don't need a headlight for testing it today. And I'm going to cut the key off and just let that sit there on the charger for a minute, or on the jump pack. I'm going to go ahead and pull the spark plugs out.
All right, so we determined it gets power. There's no known wiring issues. The next thing we need to do is figure out, will the engine turn over? You know, now that it has power, you can push the button, crank the engine over, and you don't really want it to fire up yet because you don't know what issues may be present. So we're going to pull the spark plugs out, turn the engine over, see if there's any compression issues, make sure everything turns over as it should.
So one of the things that you may want to do if you're pulling a bike out of a barn that's been sitting for a while is the motor may be locked up. And if that's the case, you don't really want to hit the starter first. I'm pretty confident this motor is not by looking at the spark plugs, and I mean, it's been some years, but it's been, you know, in there. It did run when it was parked, so I'm not really too worried about that. But if you were worried about that, I mean, you could put it in gear with the spark plugs out and then push it along the ground, like put it in a high gear. You don't want to damage the rings at startup if they seized to the cylinder or something like that. I just don't think that's the case here, so we're going to go ahead and take the chance and go ahead and hit the starter with the spark plugs out and make sure that it's going to turn over and everything seems fine with that. One of the things that you want to check also before you even turn the engine over usually is does it have oil in it? Well, I know that this bike, when it was parked, did have oil in it, and usually if it parked and it was running, it should have had. But something about a Sportster of this model is that after it sits for a long period, the oil tends to go back to the sump. So we did check the oil. We'll probably show you a picture of that here. You really need to run these Sportsters a minute or two before you check the oil. So I'm not going to add any because I expect that if I did, it would actually be over full once I ran it and then checked it again, which is the proper method. So another thing that you may want to check before turning it over is just check the fuel tank. See if it's got gas in it and make sure it's not just rusted up, something like that. I didn't expect any problem with this one. It looks fine. And if you were worried about that, it just wanted to make sure the motor turned over. You could disconnect the fuel line. That way it wouldn't trying to put any of that dirty gas in there. Now, this gas may not be the best in the world, and we'll probably top it off, but I don't have any reason not to want to go ahead and turn it over right now because of this gas. Spins over, we've got compression, so we'll put the spark plugs back in it and then see what we've got after that. All right, so we got the spark plugs back in. I'm not sure if it was gassing or not, but we're going to turn her over with the spark plugs now and see what we find. Good sign, it hit. So with the jump pack off, that's a sign. If it goes dead when we take the jump pack off, that's a sign that either our battery's got a dead cell in it, it's just super discharged, more than likely has a dead cell in it, or that our stator and charging system is not working properly. The back tire does have a slow leak, so maiden voyage ain't gonna be a long one. We're just gonna try to get it over into some air conditioning or at least in the shade, so we can take a closer look at it. As far as the charging system and all that, I'm probably just going to try to drive it with this through up on the tank. Yeah, let's get fired up.
All right, so as you've seen, we got that bike running. Devin had to hurry up and ride it over here to the shop because the tire was going flat very quickly.
Yes, it was. So what's next then? We got to order tires, tubes, and boots. And not only that, we got to figure out what size because we put them old Coker tire styles on it before. Yeah. And it's going to be kind of hard to figure out exactly what's going to fit on there good besides that.
Yeah, you know? Those are a great tire for that vintage look. The rideability isn't there.
No.
Durability is obviously not there.
So, and then, you know, we're going to go ahead and do an oil change. We're going to clean the fuel system on it. And I don't know if we showed it in the video, but we run it, well, on the first startup, we just run it for a few seconds, just checking everything. And it was actually still low of oil.
Yeah.
But then actually when I rode it back over here and then I checked it, it was actually right where it needed to be. So we just didn't run it long enough.
Yeah, just because those Sportsters, the oil will drain out of the oil bag down into the sump if it just sits for a while. So
Exactly.
something to be mindful of. Don't just assume it's low and add oil, because then you're going to be overfilled. That presents its own issues.
Yeah.
So we definitely appreciate you guys watching us, and make sure you hit that notification bell to be updated when our following videos on this bike comes out. We love Sportsters. In fact, we'll put up in the corner a link to several reasons why we love Sportsters. And if you have any questions at all about anything you've seen in this video, leave us a comment below. We love comments. We respond to every single comment.
Speaking of comments, let us know what you do if y'all were getting a bike out of a barn or in a situation like this where the bike's been sitting up a while. Maybe there's something that we missed. I mean, there's a bunch of things that we didn't talk about, but put it down in the comment section, and that way somebody else can see that if they're doing the same thing.
I know. Y'all ride safe out there.